What is going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve here, Raking Profit. Hopefully you guys are having a fabulous afternoon. Today I have my good friend, Paul, who, man, it's like a brother from another mother. Paul, we met probably 3 years ago, you'd say?
Yeah, it was about 3 years ago.
3 years ago at an event called the Woodstock Fruit Festival, out of all places. And it's where all these crazy people meet. It's really weird. They all meet and we both went and they eat fruit for a week straight. That's it. It's all raw. It's all fruit. And we became friends there. We kind of like made a little tribe of a couple people we were hanging out with the whole time. And yeah, we became friends, but we never really exchanged numbers or anything. We just kind of like went our own ways afterwards. And then 3 years later, why don't you fill in the space? 3 years later.
Yeah, so I started selling on eBay and then I started making YouTube videos about it and looking at other YouTubers, and all of a sudden I see this guy, Steve. I'm like, I know that guy. That's the fruit guy. And then I think I messaged you, and then you had checked out my channel, and we kind of took us a little while, but we got reconnected.
Yeah, it's really, really cool how the world works. But anyways, he shared with me that he had a YouTube channel, which is called The Hustle Husbands. And I started looking at his video and I'm like, what is this whole drop shipping thing? Because I've heard about drop shipping in the past. And I was telling Paul a couple days ago, every time I heard the word drop shipping, I thought of two words. I thought risky and I thought scam. Like that's all I ever thought, because I just didn't know. Like I didn't think people were actually making money with drop shipping. Well, long story short, he ended up sharing his screen. I saw some screenshots of his account and everything, and I ended up going through a course that he created, which is all about drop shipping. And you've been doing, I don't know how long you've been doing this for, but I know you mentioned that in the screenshot showed 150,000, it was a little over $150,000 in sales on eBay within 1 month. Drop shipping. Now, I know people are gonna be like, whoa, like that's crazy. I'm gonna become a millionaire. It wasn't all profit. The margins are actually pretty small with drop shipping, from what I understand, compared to like retail arb and different things. But how much profit are you actually on pace to make this month?
So profit for me is at least 10%. It's usually between 10 and 13%. So right now my sales for this past month have been $175,000. A few hours left in the day. So probably just get over 175. So that's at least 18, probably just under 20,000 in profit this month.
That is so cool. That is so freaking cool. So yeah, I'm actually going through Paul. He has a course that's on Teachable, and I'm actually invested in it, going through it right now. And I'm probably about 80% done. I actually just listed my first 5 items. I know I sent you over a link to one of the items that I listed that I'm going to be drop shipping. But in any event, in this video, I kind of want to talk about Paul's story in terms of how he got started, define what drop shipping is, kind of bring this opportunity to you guys. And we're going to talk about a lot of various ins and outs of the business, what it is, the softwares that Paul uses, automation. We're going to be talking about, is drop shipping a scam? What are some of the risks that are involved? Because I feel like there's a lot of kind of confusion in general when it comes to drop shipping. I mean, I've been going on a rampage of learning the last week or so. We're going to talk about what to source, how to drop ship, what websites, cashback sites, fulfilling orders. And we're going to try to answer all your guys' questions. So Paul, why don't you introduce yourself and share kind of like who you are and how you came about this business and where you are today.
Yeah, so I'm Paul. I started trying to sell online about 2.5 years ago. I was trying to sell on Shopify, but doing drop shipping onto Shopify, but it didn't work out. I lost a lot of money doing that. I think it's because I didn't know how to do advertising. And when you have your own Shopify store, you have to take care of all that. And I just wasn't up for that. So I lost money doing that, took a couple months off, and it was just like eating away at me. I was like, I have to figure out something. I have to like redeem myself, right? So that's when I found eBay dropshipping. And it's funny that you said that you found that you always thought that that dropshipping was risky, because I thought the complete opposite. Because you don't have any inventory. When you're dropshipping onto eBay, you're not paying for any advertising. So there's no risk really. So that's what really appealed. That's what was really appealing to me about it. That's why I did it. And I I took a course actually, and the course was really good at like setting up the foundation for me, like telling me how to set up a store and all that. But for like 6 months, I've really like struggled. Like the most I ever sold in a month was like 4,000, and it dropped back down to 3,000. And then finally, like halfway through last year, I like figured it out. And I went from like 3,000 one month to 7,000 next month to 21,000 to 60,000. And it's just been going up from there. So once I figured it out, like everyone started, I was in this forum, people were asking me like, how are you doing it? So I started making YouTube videos because I wanted to like share with people and like help them out. And then that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
That's cool, man. So you mentioned it was funny because you had mentioned you thought it was like not risky at all. The one thing that I feel like I'm gonna just share with you what was in my mind is I always thought that it was like illegal. Like I never really looked into it, but I thought like every time people would like ever mention drop shipping in the comments and on my YouTube and like when I would look at it on like Facebook, forums and stuff, everyone would always be like, it's illegal, it's unethical, it's a scam. And like, I never really read in between the lines. So is drop shipping illegal? Is it unethical? Like, let's just define what it is first and foremost, because I'll be honest, before last week, I never really fully understood what it meant, especially like drop shipping on eBay, because that's what you do. I don't know if we've clarified that, but you're drop shipping on eBay, correct? You're not drop shipping on Amazon.
No, just eBay. I mean, we could talk about Amazon another time. I experimented with it. I know people who are doing it, but I don't do it right now. But let's talk about eBay and let's talk about drop shipping, because what it is I'm listing items on eBay that I don't have. They're not in my apartment. I don't have a warehouse. I don't have the items.
You don't own them.
Don't own them. No. Then when somebody buys the item on eBay, I get their address. I contact the supplier and tell them to ship it to the customer. So what I do is I go onto like homedepot.com, basically copy everything on the listing, paste it into eBay, and that's my eBay listing. Then when they buy it, I just go into Home Depot like I'm a regular customer. When I check out for the shipping address, I just put the customer's address and it gets shipped to them. And that's it. And then I obviously pocket the difference in cost. And
so I know what. Oh, keep going. I don't want to.
I was going to answer your other question about the legality of drop shipping.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because I can assure you it's not illegal.
What do you do for a career?
I'm actually a lawyer, so that's my 9 to 5. So I kind of know what I'm talking about, and I can assure people it's not illegal. Literally everyone does this. Have you ever been on Wayfair.com?
Yeah.
Wayfair, all they do is drop ship. Home Depot actually drop ships. Amazon, not really Amazon, but Walmart drop ships. All these big companies are drop shipping. You don't even know it. So it's definitely not illegal.
Why do you think it gets such a bad name? Because I want people to really listen, right? Like, I know this guy. He's a friend of mine. Like, this isn't some video where you're watching, like sometimes you log on like YouTube and you watch this video and it's like how I made $67,000 living in Nigeria. Like this is real life. Like, but in order for people to like actually listen to what we're saying right now, like we need to really understand that like this is something that people are actually doing and like making money from. And like, I think a lot of people are thinking right now, like, well, what happens if the item's out of stock? What happens if I get a return? I'm trying to think of other obstacles that like I was thinking about. Like, how do you handle that?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, those problems come up. Stock issues. So there are drawbacks to drop shipping, and that's one. Another one is that you don't have control. So like if they ship out the wrong item, there's nothing you can do about that, right? If they don't package it well and gets damaged, there's nothing you can do about that. But that doesn't mean it doesn't work. I mean, I see those issues every week, but I'm still doing really well. It does work. And I think the reason people think it doesn't work is because it just seems so like out there, like, right? Like, why would somebody buy an item from me?
Simple.
What'd you say?
It's like stupid simple.
Yeah, it's stupid simple. And also, like, why would somebody come onto eBay and buy something from me for $50 when they can buy on a Walmart for 40?
Great
And
question.
that is a good question, but they do. And I think
Why?
there's a few reasons for that. A lot of my customers are actually overseas. So do you know about eBay's global shipping program?
Yep. Yep.
Right. So for anyone, I guess your viewers who might not know about it, it's like a freight forwarding company by eBay. So if somebody in like the UK buys my item, I don't have to ship it right to them. I ship it to eBay and then eBay sends it to them. They take care of all of that. But the person in the UK can't shop on HomeDepot.com. So if they really want that saw on Home Depot, they're not going to get it unless they buy it from me. So that's actually a large chunk of my customers. But also there's just people who either because they're comfortable with eBay or they're uncomfortable on other sites or they just really trust PayPal or they're lazy. They don't want to shop around. They just want to go to eBay, find the item and buy it. They don't want to look around. And so what they're paying for is my service, I guess, of shopping for them is the way I look at it.
We had a couple really good comments. We have D Bolt 23 saying, I drop ship myself and I make about $2,000 a month from it. So
Cool.
we actually have someone in the comments. What's up, D Bolt? We have Joanna C asking a great question. And this is probably one of those big roadblocks and obstacles we all have to get over in order to listen to this and really understand that it's a possibility to make money drop shipping. But what happens or what systems do you have in your business, Paul, to deal with an item going out of stock? Because I know in your course, in your program that I'm going through, you like to drop ship from Amazon primarily, Home Depot, a couple other places as well. But things are always going in and out of stock on Amazon. So how do you deal with that? Because you must have, I don't know, what, 100,000, 20,000 listings? I don't know. How do you deal with that?
So it really comes down to having great software is like the first step, because there's actually there's a lot of software out there that will actually reprice your item on eBay if the price changes on your source's website. And when I say source, I'm talking about Home Depot, Amazon, Walmart. That's what I mean by source. So if the price changes on your source's website, it's going to change on eBay. So you're not going to accidentally lose money because the price changes. But it's also going to mark it out of stock if the item goes out of stock on your source's website. So that's the first step. But with that said, what sometimes happens is they buy the item on eBay, and then before you get a chance to buy it, it goes out of stock. So there are ways to deal with this. Usually what I do is wait like a day, and a lot of times the websites will get more of them in stock. Or, I have like all these scripts that I use that I give to my virtual assistants so they can use as well. And it just says like, hey, there was a problem with this item. It was damaged in the warehouse. It was the last one we had in stock. Do you want this item instead? Or do you want your money back? Or do you want to wait for more to come in stock? And 99% of the time, that works fine. You'd be surprised. Like in the beginning, I messed up so much at this because I didn't know what I was doing. And I was just shocked at how few negative feedbacks I got on eBay. Like, I don't know if people just don't like giving them or what, but I was just shocked at how few negative feedbacks I got, even though I messed up so bad in the beginning because I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, one of the important things about, because I've been selling on eBay for over 5 years, people are, human beings. Like they'll understand if you communicate with them properly. And I can imagine that your scripts are written in a very professional way. So if you do make a boo-boo, you say sorry and let them know, hey, this is what happened, right? I mean, it's going to happen every now and then. Another question people ask, another roadblock to drop shipping is it's not going to work because people are going to leave negative feedbacks because items are going to be delivered in an Amazon box or in a Home Depot box. And I was actually surprised based on my research, watching your videos, going through your program, and like, there's a whole community out there of drop shippers. I never even realized it on YouTube. Everyone's like, nobody cares, which I was surprised by.
Yeah, it's actually really true. I mean, my thought process is, I ship something in a Home Depot box or an Amazon box. And I'm just guessing that when they get it, they just figure it's like a box I had laying around. Lots of people have Home Depot boxes. Lots of people have Amazon boxes. You rip open the package, you pull out your item like, yeah, I got my new new like shiny object. I'm really excited by it. I don't even look at the invoice. So most people don't care. And then, some people will like message me and very rarely and say like, oh, did this item come from Home Depot? And, you can kind of, I don't want to say lie to them, but I guess you kind of BS them and say, oh yeah, we use Home Depot as like fulfillment service. And that just makes them, they don't know what that means. And so they just ignore you. Yeah. And okay. And here's the other thing. If they do give you negative feedback because you got it from somewhere else, they're going to put in the feedback, oh, this item was $5 cheaper on Home Depot. eBay doesn't allow that. So you can call them and they'll just remove the comment.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people in the comments right now, Paul. I'm actually very surprised how many people are showing up right now. We have about 70 people watching just because I've never talked about drop shipping. And I was a little worried that people wouldn't take the time to watch this because drop shipping, at least in our community, has such a bad name. It really, really does. And I don't know if it's just our like reselling community. But in any event, I want to shout some people out really quick. Teresa York, what's going on? Is Paul Scripts for sale or does he have a course? I could have sworn I heard you mention that. Yeah, I'm actually going through his program right now. And luckily it's actually on sale. I don't know how much longer it's going to be on sale for, but it's the first link in the description. And I can tell you guys right now, I don't want to make this like a sales pitch or anything, but it's really freaking good. The one thing that I really loved about the program, and some people are asking questions about it, is the software that you recommend. Holy crap, man. If that software that you didn't recommend to me didn't exist, I would never be wasting my time even learning it right now. Why don't you share with people, if you don't mind, what that software is and exactly what it does? I'm talking about the one that starts with a D.
Okay, yeah. So first of all, Teresa, the scripts are in the course. So those would be available in there. But there's a lot of software that I use. But I think the one you're talking about is DSM tool. Is that the one?
Yes, dude. That thing is freaking crazy. I can't believe someone actually created that.
Right. So this thing's like a monster. So what it does is I go into Amazon, I find an item I want to list, I copy the URL, I go to DSM tool and I paste it in, and it just, you click a button and then everything's there. It creates the listing for you, copies the photos, the title, the description. It will mark up the price. You'll set in your settings how much you want it to mark up the price. It does that for you automatically. It's stupid easy. And then
they don't even understand. They don't even understand how. Like when I went through this tool for the first time, because I thought it was gonna be a pain in the butt. I'm like, are you serious? Like everything you mentioned, it just automatically populates.
Yeah. And then if the price changes, that software does the price change. And the starter program, it's free for the first 50 items that you list. It's free. And then after that, it's really cheap. It's like $10 for 150 items. It's great.
So one question I had for you is, and I've been researching drop shipping again over the last week since I learned about your course. I've been going through it and just kind of diving into like your videos on your channel and all these other amazing videos on YouTube. I know there's a lot of different business models with drop shipping. How would you explain to the people watching right now your drop shipping business model? Is it are you going for volume and like very little margins? Because I know some people like only drop ship like $2,000 treadmills. Mm-hmm. So can you explain your model and how you've been able to like use that model on eBay to scale up to, I think, what, 18,000 profit this month out of 177,000 in sales?
So yeah, I do go for volume because I find that that does work best on eBay to sell like a lot of items. My margins are low compared to other people selling like their own products on online, but they're not really low for drop shipping. I know people who are getting 5%, only 5% profit, but I go for at least 10%. But it's really about the bulk, the volume to really get the money. And for that, because it is so massive, I need the software and I need the virtual assistants. Otherwise, there's no way I could do it by myself.
That's cool. So let's kind of walk people through the process of what you do, or maybe what your virtual assistants do now, because you have what, 9 virtual assistants?
Yeah, 9.
So let's build some context right now. Yes, he's doing, over 170,000 in sales, which, let's be real, the sales are just kind of irrelevant. What you're looking for is you're trying to make profit. So you've gotten to 18K per month profit, which hasn't been an easy road. You even told me before, it's been a lot of hard work. So I don't want anybody watching thinking, oh, it's some get rich quick scheme, it's going to happen overnight. It's very, very hard work. But he's got 9 virtual assistants, guys. This has taken a while. But what's this process of finding a product? What are you looking for? Because I was studying eBay last night and I was very surprised. Dude, there's like hundreds of people doing exactly what you're doing. I couldn't believe it. Like, I used to see eBay accounts and stores with like 100,000 items, and I didn't understand what was going on. Like, I thought they had some big warehouse with like products, like, but they're drop shipping. But I'm going through these items and it doesn't seem like there's really any rhyme or reason with a lot of these big drop shipping stores. I mean, are there any specific criteria you're looking for that you can give advice to the people listening and watching?
Yeah, so it sounds like what those stores were doing was just mass listing everything they found on like Walmart, for instance, just putting it all out there. And I don't like doing that because it costs a lot of money. I don't know if people know about insertion fees. Every time you list an item over a certain number of items, you got to pay for it just to list it. So that adds up.
Like 20 or 30 cents, right? Depending on.
Yeah, depending on what kind of store you have. So I don't like to do that. I like to be like much more selective about my items. And also that increases your sell-through rate, which eBay likes. So right at this point, like I know, and I've taught my virtual assistants, like they understand like what items sell well on eBay. So they can go through Home Depot, Amazon, Walmart, and they can just almost like intuitively know which items will sell well. And that's not very helpful for a beginner. And I understand that. So
unless your virtual assistant's going to come on the next show.
Right. So in order to like jumpstart that process of understanding which items sell well, this is really the way you do it. You have to find other dropshippers on eBay, and then you go and look at their store and see what is selling. So you can go in, look at all their items for sale, and it will tell you this item sold 14 times. This one never sold at all. This one sold 102 times. This one sold 500 times. And yes, that does happen. Like I have products that have sold hundreds of times.
Really?
Yeah. Because
how did you do that when the competition, because based on my research, one of my challenges, because I'm so new, so I'm literally like someone in the audience right now, just like interviewing, which is so cool. But like a lot of these guys, I feel like it's hard to like match their price. I don't know exactly how they're able to sell these items on such low margins. Again, I'm a complete noob. So.
Right. So you don't have to play the price game with them. I know people that do, they'll undercut each other. It's like a race.
That's what I was doing on the first 5 listings I just put. I was just trying to undercut everybody, and like each item I'll make like 15 cents. And I'm just like, are they playing the cashback game? Are they doing something I don't know?
Okay, there's like so much going on here that I could go into. So I want to like, okay. So let me stay focused on this, because the key that I found is in the keywords, in the titles, because you're going to have, you found somebody who's selling an item. Let's say it's like a saw, right? And they have a title, and you might be like tempted to copy that title and just copy the whole listing, right? And undercut them. But what you'll find is that there's people on eBay who are selling the same item as that person with a completely different title, and yet both people are selling them even though they have different prices. And that's because they have different titles with different keywords. So you want to find the keywords that buyers are searching for that no other seller has thought to put into their title.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's really like the power of keywords on eBay.
So you're essentially trying to, because as a marketer myself, I realize on YouTube as well, I've got some videos that get a lot of views, and there's other videos that might even be better, but the problem is no one can find them. Keywords are so important. So essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to use keywords to essentially match the customer up with the product. Because when they go on eBay and they're looking for, I don't know, a specific saw, how do they find it? There's not like a button they hit for saws, right? Because I know there's categories. So are you saying, do you feel that most people are searching via keywords versus like going into specific categories?
Yeah, absolutely. Because everyone's used to Google. They're just used to plugging it in and finding it. So they're not going to do a lot of digging. They're going to think of the first word. Like somebody might search for screwdriver. I'm sorry, somebody might search for a drill, and somebody else might search for like electric screwdriver. And they might be looking for the same item, but they're going to get completely different results.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Looking through the comments right now, by the way, thanks for that tip. That was what was holding me back. So actually one more question before I jump into the comments. So if you see someone, for example, selling that saw for maybe 1572, maybe it's wholesale electronics. They have like 100,000 feedback with like 200,000 items in their store. Say they're selling it for what I say, $15. What would you price it at? Considering you put good keywords in, I mean, what factors are you going to be thinking about?
I generally don't pay attention to what other people are pricing it at. I price it at my price point, which is really depends on the source, how high I price it up. But I'm not really going to pay too much attention to what they're pricing it at, because like I said, it's just going to become a race to zero where nobody wins, right? So I found that I'm still making money doing it that way.
Wow. I'm really glad that you gave that answer, because I absolutely hate, with a passion, price wars and price matching. And that's one of the things that drove me crazy about retail arbitrage, is it's just such a cutthroat game. And unfortunately, when you're selling on Amazon FBA with products, everybody's listed under the same listing. So it's like, there's no other way to really differentiate yourself.
Right.
So
but I will say though that it is, I do find that it's important to price like as competitively as you can in your comfort zone. So I still price mine lower than I used to, because I found that it just generates more sales. And I make up for that on what I call the back end, which is like cashback credit cards and things like that.
Okay, cool. A couple more people asking about your program. Carissa, you can check the first link in the description if you want to check out Paul's dropshipping program, which I'm about actually probably 90% done. It's really good. There's probably like, how many videos do you have in that? Like 50?
I should have counted. There's a lot.
There's a lot. If you guys check out the page, you can see if it's a fit for you or not. He literally shares all the videos that he made. There was a great question that came in. I want to shout that person out. All right, I can't find the question, but they essentially asked, how do you expect me to start a drop shipping business when I have no money? That was the exact question.
Great. So this is probably one of the cheapest like business models to start, because you don't have the inventory. You don't have to buy the inventory. You could do it from your laptop from home, right? If you've been selling on eBay already and you've been using PayPal, then you really need no money to start. But for new eBay sellers who are first using PayPal, PayPal is going to hold your money as a new seller. I don't know if you're familiar with
limits. Oh yeah, it's a big hurdle getting past the eBay and PayPal limits at first.
Yeah. So PayPal wants to make sure that you're not scamming the buyers. So for the first 90 days, they're going to hold your money for like 2 weeks until the sale is complete, like the item is delivered, in which case they'll release it at that point. So you need some money to like buy the item from Amazon and ship it to the customer until you get the money from PayPal. So that's the only thing. So you probably need a few $100s to do that. But like I said, if you're already set up with PayPal and you're not in that PayPal jail, then you're good.
Yeah, this business model really just got me excited, because you don't have any inventory, right? It costs very little money to get started, and you could essentially automate this, which is really, really cool. We had a comment that came in from someone saying, a friend of mine makes 20 to 30,000 drop shipping, and it's all about how he phrases the title and the listing. he will sell an item 30% to 50% more than the competitor and get the sale.
That guy's good because I haven't gotten that high of margins. But yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, an idea that I had, and I'm not sure if you've experimented with this, but eBay recently, well, it's not even that recent. They released a program called sponsored ads. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
So, wow, this is gonna be well. I get to teach you something. Yes. Sponsored ads is essentially it's kind of like PPC, pay per click advertising. So you can run an ad through the sponsored ad program, and it'll rank your item all the way at the top for specific keywords and stuff. I haven't done it in a long time. I don't know if it's for keywords or what, but essentially when it sells, I believe you bid. Maybe someone can help me out in the comments, but you definitely want to look into this. You pay a certain percentage of the final value fee when it sells, only when it sells, and it'll actually show you what sales you're making from that sponsored program versus just organic. So I don't know. Would that be valuable to you if you can rank your item at the top over all the other competition? Do you think that would matter?
Yes, I do. And I'll tell you why. I know it. I know what you're talking about now. And because as I'm going through eBay, I've seen these. I've seen people who have the sponsored, and every time I look at it, I think to myself like why are people wasting their money doing this? Because to me, it doesn't look like it does anything. It just makes their listing appear once organically and then once again, with the ad. But then I look and they're actually making more sales than everyone else. I don't know why I haven't actually, I don't know why until now that you said it, I haven't really looked into this. I guess just because I've been doing well with what I've been doing. But yeah, I'm going to write a note down about that to look more into that. Because
dude, if you double your sales, I want a commission. Everybody on, I know you're a lawyer and this isn't like what's it called? Like it's not a binding contract verbally, but it's live, man. No. Well, yeah. Joanna says sounds like Google AdWords. Yeah, it's very similar. Amazon has, Amazon sponsored ads, PPC, Google AdWords, Facebook advertising. It's very, very similar. So let's definitely look into that and come back on and let folks know how that's working.
Yeah.
Looking at some more questions. Okay, this is a good question. And this relates to researching other dropshipping sellers to kind of think of product ideas. Teresa's saying this might sound like a dumb question, which is actually not. But how do you know what sellers on eBay are dropshippers?
That's not a dumb question. That's like
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's probably like the hardest part of the formula, I guess, for finding items, but it's really not that hard. So what you literally do is you go onto a website that you want to drop ship from. Like let's say it's Walmart. Okay, just find any item on there. Doesn't matter what it is. Go and copy the title of it, and then search for that title on eBay. And then you're going to find a whole bunch of people selling it with the same title. And you want to find people that have the same photos as Walmart, the same. I should say this. You got to like sort out all the like used ones, right? And all the auction ones. You only want the new items. And then you find items that have the same title and the same photo and the same description. And these are like the best people to kind of find because these are lazy dropshippers because they're literally just using the exact title from Walmart. They're not optimizing it. So they're going to like, if you find items in their store that are selling well, they're going to have like cruddy titles and you can make an awesome title and sell a lot more than them. So does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Let's see. Someone was saying sponsored ads. I think it's a waste of money. I haven't seen any increase in sales with promotional listings. So James said he's not having success with it. I've actually heard quite a few people say they really hated it, and then a couple people saying they loved it. So there may be a specific strategy to the sponsored ads. Let's talk a little bit more about returns because we have a couple people kind of concerned about returns. So, you get a return from you go into your eBay dashboard and you see that somebody wants a return. What's a reason why someone might want to return when you're shipping? Broken item, they don't like it.
Yeah, just anything that, broken item, it arrived damaged, it was the wrong item, it was, not the size I was expecting, I just don't
Well,
want
yeah.
it, different reasons like that. So returns are really easy because, when you return an item to Amazon, what do? You go into your Amazon orders, you click return, they email you a return label. So you get that return label, you send it to your customer, they send it right to Amazon. When you get refunded, you refund the customer, and that's it. Actually, like I kind of like returns because if it's because of buyer's remorse, like if they just don't want it, I charge a restocking fee. So I make money even though I didn't spend any money. So it's pretty cool.
Cool. Awesome. Now, are you doing this personally, or have you been able to train your virtual assistants to be able to do this for you?
The virtual assistants do 90% or plus of the work. So they do listings, they customer service, they fulfill all the orders. The only thing I do, it varies day to day, but on average, a little less than an hour a day on my eBay store. And that's because and that's because I still have to answer like some of the like hard customer questions. Sometimes, these virtual assistants, they're in the Philippines, they speak really good English, but sometimes when people ask like weird technical questions about their products. So that's where I like come in. And then also I do the banking because I don't want to give them access. I was telling you this the other day, Steve. I have like 3 credit cards that I use, and I use those for the cash back, but I have to pay them off like 3 times a week so I don't hit my limits. So that's what I do during that hour.
Cool. I was actually interested since we're speaking about paying for items. I'm sure a lot of people are kind of curious because I know a lot of folks who are watching are, successful sellers already on eBay and Amazon, and they don't have a ton of time, kind of like myself.
Mm-hmm.
Hiring a virtual assistant and then paying for the items. Talk about that because you have credit cards and you have. I know you mentioned in your course about like gift cards, and I think it was you. I've been watching so many videos. Do you pay with gift cards at all or no?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was you. What's the actual like logistics in terms of like the system? Like, so, somebody buys an item on eBay, right? So you're selling, I don't know, you're selling a book on eBay and it sells for, I don't know, 20 bucks. Now you have things set up in your software to where it tracks your source. So maybe it's Amazon, $15. So once it sells, and now you have, how many items you sell a day? Typically like 100, you were telling me, I think.
Yeah, at least over 100. During
So
Christmas, it was like 200.
So what's this process of like you have all these virtual assistants, but like are you having to go in like every day and just pay for everything manually?
I mean, do I do it or do the VAs do it?
Yeah, because you said you don't give your VAs access to the credit card. So how do you like what's your
That's
actual
interesting.
system for paying everything?
Okay. Yeah. So I don't give them access to like my bank account to like pay off the credit card is what I meant. But yeah, they don't actually have my credit card numbers. So
Oh,
yeah. So
it's in the system.
Amazon, yeah. So on Amazon, it's super easy because Amazon is actually kind of a pain because you have to enter the credit card number every time you ship to a new address, which is a pain. But you can have a gift card on Amazon and just refill it. And if you do that, you don't have to verify any information. So I just refilled that for the VAs to use. VA is like a short for virtual assistant, by the way. Um, then for like other sites like Home Depot, you can save your credit card information. Or what I do is I use my credit card to buy gift cards from Home Depot. I have like 10 of them and I refill them like on a loop. And they just use those gift cards to buy it. And you can do that for other web. This is another cool thing that I want to share with you guys.
He's dropping drop shipping gold nugget bombs all over us today. I'm loving it.
So you can go to a website called raise.com, and there's other websites like this, and you can buy discounted gift cards on them. So you could buy like a $100 Walmart gift card for like $95. So you're saving $5. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're doing like hundreds of dollars a day, that adds up really fast.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. The one of the things I liked that you were talking about in your videos were the I'm not going to give them all away, but there were a couple various portals that you used. I think one of them was Giving Assistant. Was that one?
Yep.
Ebates, different things like that. So that's crucial, huh? To go through those portals because your margins are so small in order to stay competitive, right? And to kind of help you to increase sales, those extra couple percent can be a big difference when you're selling 175,000 a month.
Yeah, definitely. Like right now, Giving Assistance, one of the ones I use. I'm still waiting. I've still waiting on $12,000 from them because they're going to make sure that that's just cash back.
They're gonna pull it out of their Bitcoin, man, and give you some money.
Yeah, but there's plenty of them, and you got to kind of shop around, see which one has the best percentage, but and which one works the best for you. But yeah, they're great. It's free money.
Awesome. Awesome. Rhonda W. What's up, Rhonda? Big shout out. Man, we got Bill B in the house. We got Dustin Doyle, who I'll be seeing tomorrow at our Connecticut thrifting meetup. Rhonda's asking, do you select only higher priced items to drop ship from Amazon to eBay?
No, I do a wide range. In the beginning, you want to buy list cheaper items because, well, someone like you, Steve, if you already have a store with like great feedback, then it doesn't really matter what you list. But the cheaper items are going to sell better because they're like more impulse buys. People aren't going to think about it. They're not going to shop around. They're just going to say, oh, like this is a cool item. It's cheap. I'll get it. Right. As your store grows, you can list the more expensive ones, and they sell less often, but when they do, it's awesome.
Cool. Alice is asking, do you copy Amazon titles into eBay to find others? Paul mentioned the software that he uses, which I started using as well. It's called DSM Tool, and it is free for your first 50 listings. And then it's one of those things where like when your listings increase, it increases the cost of using it. But it's so easy. I'm telling you right now, guys, you've got to check it out. It literally pulls the pictures, the title, the description, like everything. Like it's crazy. So definitely check that out. Glenn is saying, I'm a total newbie. I do not currently have an eBay store. Is this going to be a huge hurdle to start drop shipping?
No, I started with nothing. And it's going to require patience. That's for sure. But if you know how to do it and you get like the right sales, then eBay is going to see that. They're going to get excited that you're making them money. So they're going to let you grow faster. So
what do you think about people going into eBay and directly finding a drop shipper and like copying everything to the T? Because I just got done with an interview. I was interviewing my buddy Nick, who he does a private label on Amazon. And he's like, listen, you got to be different. Like everyone's like monkey see, monkey do. Everyone just copies everybody. Is that good advice, or is it different with drop shipping? Can you go ahead and just find a successful drop shipper and copy their title, maybe change up a keyword or two, or just copy it to the T? Like when you're first getting started.
So what I said before, and what I think works well is copying like what items they're selling so that you get an idea of what sells well. But copying the title, I think is a terrible idea, because there's no way you're going to be able to beat these established eBay stores. They know the game. They know how to price it lower than you. They're going to destroy you. And I know this for a fact. This is business, so I got to be honest about this. If someone copies my title, I go into their store and copy every single one of their items and undercut them, even if I don't make any money on it, just to get rid of them. And because I got to protect my store. And so that's what.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that's a bad idea for that reason. And because it's a race to the bottom, and because you're not going to learn anything. You're not going to learn how to make good titles. You're not going to really learn which items are going to sell well. You're just going to be on automatic pilot going through it. And ultimately your goal is you want to be able to go on your source's website, find items yourself that are going to sell well. And you're going to list these items onto eBay that before anyone else is selling the item, or before anyone is selling them with an optimized title. And you're going to beat everyone to the punch, and you're going to make money on that item before anyone else.
We got my number one girl in the house right now, Sheree Harrison, in the house. And it's funny because we had connected, I believe it was in San Jose, and we had like a meetup up there, and we had all gone out to dinner and whatever. But good friend of mine, and I remember she was into drop shipping, and funny enough, she's jumping in the comments right now. Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. She says And this is a great comment because this concerns me. Honestly, out of anything, this is probably the number one thing that concerns me from going from Amazon to eBay. And it seems to be kind of a split decision in terms of what people think. She says, I used to drop ship from Amazon to eBay, and Amazon sent a message stating, it looks like you're using this account for resale and we can revoke your account. She asked, how do you get around this?
So I've heard people say this before, but I don't know if this was like an old policy that they used to enforce, but they don't do it anymore. I've sold a lot of items from Amazon. I have buddies that have done it, and none of us have gotten hit with this. You know, they used to say that you can drop ship from Amazon as long as you don't use the 2-day shipping, but they used to have like that like middle ground shipping that they kind of got rid of. I don't, you know what I'm talking about? Like they had 2 days and they had like 2 weeks and they had something in the middle and they got rid of the middle one. So I just started using the Prime 2-day shipping and I haven't had a problem with it. Now, some suppliers don't let you drop ship. And if they find out, they will like flag you and not let you buy anything. They'll cancel your orders. So I've tried a whole bunch. I know which ones work, don't work well. Amazon has worked well. Home Depot has worked well. What I know, the two that are really bad are Lowe's and Bed Bath and Beyond. It's had this month has been terrible for me because I tried Bed Bath and Beyond and just like
you made I noticed in your course you made an initial video and then it was like a revised video or something additional.
Yeah, because I didn't want to I made the course and if things change, I'm going to add to it because I don't want people to get the wrong information.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys have any questions right now, let's take a minute to let everyone know. Ask your questions right now. I'm here with Paul, and he's with the Hustle Husbands YouTube channel. His program that we've been mentioning is the first link in the description if you guys are interested in that. And I'll tell you what, right now, if anyone does get that, I'll throw in all 3 of my clothing books. So if you do want to get his program, I'll give you all 3 of my clothing books so you can start making money with a couple different things. So if you do get it, or you've been watching and you decide to get it, just send me a screenshot that you purchased it and send me an email, rakeandprofit@gmail.com, and I'll hook you up with those 3 books, which is like over $120 worth of books. So definitely check that out. But yeah, feel free to ask questions. And if you guys are enjoying this content, be sure to like this video, show some love for us. Paul is just like giving away so much information. Really, really grateful to have you on here. Joanna is asking, what is going on with the meetup and what are you talking about? Tomorrow, I'm actually hosting a free Connecticut meetup. So I'm meeting up with we have I don't know, probably who knows, 15 to 30 people are going to probably show up. We're going to go all to different thrift stores and go to garage, Goodwills and Salvation Armies and stuff. So I'll link to that afterwards in the description as well if you want to come tomorrow. James Brown says, if I was going to do this, how do I protect my top rated seller with the handling times? Okay,
so I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You're going to lose it. You can't. You would have to start a new eBay store. That's what would be. But what about with
Amazon though? Because Amazon's Prime, right?
If you use Amazon, that's the only way you would keep it, is if you use Amazon and just Amazon. Because with the Prime, you would be able to keep it. But if you're using other suppliers like Walmart, Home Depot, well, Walmart has a lot of 2-day shipping items. So if you selected just those ones, you'd be good. So if you wanted to use it in the same store, I would say you would use the Prime, Amazon Prime, and Walmart 2-day shipping. But for everything else, I would recommend starting a new store, because there's just it's almost impossible to keep it or to even get it if you're a drop shipper. Because the truth is you don't have control over how fast they ship out. Most suppliers don't have 2-day shipping or fast shipping. Yeah, but if you make a second store, you'll be fine.
That's interesting you mentioned that, because I actually have 4 eBay stores, but there's only 3 that I really use. But one of them is top rated seller status. The other 2 aren't. I lost it. I did a couple stupid things and just late shipments and stuff. And I was wondering, one of them has a couple thousand reviews on it. Another one has 900 reviews. And then another one has 50 reviews. I was trying to figure out which account I should use because I don't want to lose the top rated seller status. So I actually did list some items on that. I'm thinking I shouldn't do that because I probably will. How long does it typically take? I know you mentioned it before to kind of, someone's brand new or they open a new account because most people aren't going to want to use their main account. They open a new account. How long does it really take to scale this business up to a point where you could start making, I don't know, $1,000 profit a month? Like, is there a number of listings you need to get to? Does it differ? I know it's kind of a bad question. I hate asking questions like that because there's always so many factors.
No, it's a good question, I guess, because it's a common one. But you're right. You guessed it. It does depend. It depends on what your margins are, how much you're going to mark up the item, how many of the item you typically sell. I guess like a rough rule of thumb is that if you have between 800 and 1,000 listings, you'll make about 1,000 a month. But there's so many factors in that. As like an experiment, I started a new store about a month ago. How long have I had this one? It was about a month ago, and what's it called? I just started using this method that I was telling you about before. That's in the course about how to find profitable items. Just using that technique, and I'm already up to $1,000 a day in sales. And it's been, let's see how long now, about 3 weeks now since I started it, and that was
Oh,
with
wow.
zero feedback. And I already have almost 100 feedback on it.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Just going through some of the comments. Sorry, I'm trying to do the best I can to like listen to all this. I'm gonna like be watching the replay for sure, but I'm trying to fetch some of these questions coming in because I really want to add as much value as possible to the folks listening. The software he uses is DSM Tool. Mikey Lowe. Adam wants to know, how do you know what company lets you drop ship? So, I mean, right now we've been talking mostly Amazon to eBay. Inside his program, which again is the first link below, he talks about Home Depot. He talks about Bed Bath and Beyond. He talks about different companies and whatnot. But how do you know? Because there's a million different companies out there. What are the criteria that you're looking for? You said you've made a lot of mistakes over the past learning what companies not to use and stuff. I don't know if we mentioned that here before the show. Everything's blending in for me, but how do you know like which ones allow you? What does that mean, allow you to drop ship?
So there's certain criteria you want to look for just right off the bat. You want to make sure that they, have great customer service. So what I recommend doing is you actually buy something from them, have it shipped to you. See how long it takes. See what the ordering process is like. See if the item came well packaged. If how easy it is to return the item. Right. These are things you want to look for because this is going to make your life much easier and your customers happier. You also want to check to see if it's possible to not have the price included when it's shipped. So Home Depot doesn't include the price. You can do a guest checkout a lot of times, like on Amazon.com, right? And then you want to start using them, but use them slowly. Because if you scale too quickly and then all of a sudden you get a notice from them saying you're not allowed to use us for this purpose, you got to cancel a lot of orders. So that's what happened with me with Bed Bath & Beyond. I got really excited by them. I was making a ton of money from them. And all of a sudden they emailed me and said, you can't do this. So then it was a mess. But that was my fault because I didn't heed my own advice. I just scaled it too quickly. And I guess luckily for everyone on like YouTube, like I'm making these mistakes for you guys. So I'm telling you, like, don't use Bed Bath & Beyond. You can use them, but only like for a couple items, then you're fine. But for mass, it doesn't work. Don't use Lowe's because they include the shipping label. They include the price and the shipping, and they're just really unorganized. They ship items really, really late, for instance. Just a mess. Home Depot is great. Walmart is great. Home Depot, Amazon is great. And I'm constantly trying new ones so I could, tell other people what it's about and try to find the next one that no one's really thinking of.
Cool. We got dbolt23 in the comments stating, and Chris, I'll get right to your question, stating, wow, I just took a look at Paul's course, a lot of lessons, which is great. And the price is really great compared to other people selling courses. So cool. Yeah. Carissa says, do you have to have a LLC? I think that's what she's asking.
You don't need one to start, and you really shouldn't waste like money or time worrying about that in the beginning. You'll know when it's right. When you start making, a few $1,000s a month in profit, you might want to form an LLC. Obviously, talk to an attorney or to get it set up if you don't know how to do it. So, but it does protect you. You never know if somehow somebody uses a product incorrectly, they get hurt because they're an idiot, and then they try to sue everyone because this is America, and somehow you get caught in there. The LLC is just going to protect you. And it also actually creates some sort of anonymity because it's not your name, it's the LLC's name, which helps sometimes.
Andrew LLC is a limited liability company. Essentially, it's kind of like a protection against your assets, right? Is that a good way?
It separates your business money from your personal money. So if somebody sues your LLC, they can't get your personal money, right? So it's like instead of getting a corporation, you get an LLC.
We got a lawyer on. Let's smash him with the questions. This is the one time we get to. This is the one time I get to ask like legal questions, and they don't say, "Well, I'm just a guy on the internet. I'm not a lawyer." This is awesome.
This is not legal advice. I gotta say that.
Okay, awesome. You protected yourself. Bill B is asking, do you stay away from items like clothing when drop shipping because of sizing issues? Are you keeping to hard products like tools only?
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just tools. I sell a lot of home goods, tables, chairs. I would call it like a home goods store. I do sell a lot of tools, but I don't sell clothing. Sometimes I'll sell like some items that are like have different sizes, but as you know, I'm sure those get a lot of returns. So I've just kind of stayed away from them.
Cool. Amazon Seller 99. What's going on? Good to see you. Do you have any issues meeting eBay's seller requirements for on-time shipping? I know we kind of chatted about that earlier, but what are your thoughts?
No, so you got to set you can set it in your business policies how long your handling time is. So I always set mine at 3, and I'm fine as long as my virtual assistants place the orders that same day, which they always do. They place it twice a day, actually.
James Brown said, great show. We'll have to consider the course, but got to go. Thanks again. Time to get the little man from preschool. Yeah, go pick up your kid. Don't be watching drop shipping videos when your kid's waiting. No, I'm just kidding, James. Awesome to have you here. Sheree Harrison, what's going on, girl? Came in late, may have addressed this already, but how do you handle out of stock? This is my number one issue. I currently use a VA. So we might as well answer it again because this is going to be one of the biggest challenges. You're drop shipping an item. It's in your eBay store. Maybe your source that you're getting it from is Amazon or you're getting it from Home Depot. It goes out of stock. What's happening behind the scenes with your system, and how can Sheree handle this situation using a VA?
So I use software that will automatically list the item as out of stock on eBay if it's out of stock on Amazon, and it checks it every hour. So that's the first first protection. Then if for some reason they order it anyway, or let's say it goes out of stock between when they order and when the order is placed, we wait like a day and a half to see if it comes back in stock. A lot of times it does, and that's fine. If it doesn't, then I message the customer. Oh, I forgot to say this before, and this is really important, so I apologize. The next thing that I do is I first look for the item somewhere else. So a lot of times, just because it's out of stock on Amazon doesn't mean that it's out of stock on Walmart or Kmart or Sears or somewhere else. So you got to look there first, and then you can ship it to them and everything's fine. If none of that works, then I send them like this really lovely message that says, hey, we went to ship this item to you. We found out it was damaged. We don't want to ship you this damaged item. We can send you this alternate item, or you can wait to come back in stock, or you can just call things a wash. We'll give you a full refund. And on your next order, we'll give you a 5% discount, which they never actually asked for, but it's nice. It seems very like personal. And then I always sign it with my name. Actually, sometimes I make a fake name, but just something that looks very personal, right? Cool. And I rarely get negative feedback for that. It's very rare.
How many feedbacks? Actually, I don't want to give away too much information to give away your account. Here's a better question. Out of 100 feedbacks that you, or out of 1,000 feedbacks, how many typically come back negative?
Out of, um, gosh, it's hard to say. So if, at first it was very easy for me to avoid negative feedback because because I was selling less items, I could put more care into each of them in the customer service. As that increased, that obviously became much harder. So it's gone up, but I have so much positive feedback that my negative just doesn't really matter anymore. I
Right.
get it. I
Yeah.
would say I get one negative feedback for every 500 maybe. It's kind of hard for me to tell because a lot of the feedback I'm able to get removed. Um, I don't know if people are aware of this, but it's actually pretty easy to get feedback either changed or removed. You can either reach out to the buyer and say, like, I'm really sorry we messed up. Let me make this right for you. I'm going to do this or that and this or that to make this better. Then once they're happy, you say, hey, if you're happy, would you mind revising the feedback? And 9 times out of 10, they will. Otherwise, a lot of times you can kind of figure out a way that their feedback is like against eBay's policies. And eBay, if you call them, you find the right, what's it called, right representative, they'll actually just remove it. You know, like what to say and what time to call and everything.
I got a question for you. Do you sell on Amazon?
I tried it for about 2 weeks in November, and I was started drop shipping onto Amazon. I did for about 2 weeks, and like literally, there were so many sales, I just couldn't keep up with that and eBay and everything else I was doing. So I just shut it down. Like I got to do this later because I wasn't ready for it yet. I was doing too
Well, there's a
much.
lot. Yeah, no, I get it, man. Amazon is a freaking beast. It's a whole different game. But I was going to ask you a follow-up question. I know there's a lot of people who are watching, and this is actually a question I have for myself. I sell on Amazon FBA, and I have an email that's tied to my FBA account. But that same email is actually the email that I use for like buying things as well, right? So would you recommend like creating another email for your buyer's account? I don't know if it's against terms of service, just in case something was to happen. I don't know if it would knock all your accounts out because sometimes they just go based on the IP. If you don't know, you don't know. But I was just curious if you had any advice on that.
I I don't know, honestly. Yeah,
Okay, no
I'm
worries.
not sure about that one.
Another person was mentioning that, and I believe it is true that don't they have something in their terms of service saying you can't drop ship using Prime?
On
Because I'm like
Amazon?
I'm very confident there's a term that says you can't drop ship. Someone
Yep.
was mentioning that.
They do say, you mean dropship onto Amazon?
I don't know. I haven't read it, but I've seen enough people say that there's some type of writing that says you can't drop ship on Amazon using Prime. Are you familiar with that?
Okay, so you're talking about using Amazon as a source to dropship onto eBay, in other words?
Yes.
Yeah. So I haven't looked at this in a while. From what I saw in the past, they do say that, but like I said, it hasn't been enforced. I think
Right.
what it says, if what I'm remembering now, it says they have the right at any time to, you know, uh, cancel your Prime membership if they feel that you're using it for reselling, which every
Yeah.
website has, but we do it anyway, and they don't care. Like for instance, Home Depot, it says that, but they know I drop ship. I call them all the time. They say like, oh, I say like, oh, this hasn't been shipped to my customer yet, and they don't care.
I think it's almost in a sense kind of feel free to disagree, but I feel like it's almost kind of like Russian roulette in a sense where they have that terms of service and maybe they pick some people out of the hat, or if someone's really abusing it and have bad metrics, then they would use that as a reason. Does that sound like a fair assessment? Because there are screenshots of people getting suspended drop shipping from Amazon to wherever using the Prime account. Like it's documented, it's out there. But then
Yeah,
there's tons of people who use it and don't get in trouble. So it's like Amazon seller 99, like you are 100% correct. But Paul's using it and you've been doing it for how long and how many sales? Like,
right.
so
I think what it was they in the past enforced it, and I think now they realize that it just brings them so much more money that they don't care. They just want to keep doing it.
yeah.
They want to allow it, which ignore it. You know, I don't sell like a ton from Amazon. I do sell a lot. I have a buddy who just does it on Amazon. He's selling as much as I am just from Amazon, and he has no
Wow.
problem with it.
What are your what's life like now, man, that you're a successful drop shipper? How has drop shipping, helped enhance your life, and how has it helped, benefit you?
I still work a 9 to 5, so it's a little bit crazy doing everything. Luckily, that's why I had to hire the virtual assistants. So what's great for me is like I don't feel like I live in New York City and it's freaking expensive here. So I don't feel anymore like that crunch. I finally feel like I can like breathe. Like I'm like, okay, like I don't have to worry so much about like paying our mortgage or all this other stuff that I just don't want to worry about. You know, I just want to be comfortable. If I want to go out to eat, like a nice date night, like I can do that now. I don't feel like restrained. If I'm like tired and don't feel like hopping on the subway, I'm like, I'm going to take an Uber tonight. Like that's something I would never do in the past. And even now I'm like super frugal, so I might not do it, but sometimes like I feel more comfortable doing it, right? And the other thing which was surprising is that it just makes me feel more confident in myself. Like I'm like I built this business. Like this is like my empire in a way. And it's just a really good feeling to be like an entrepreneur, to be a business owner, and to know that like this was my creation.
That's cool, man. Do you think anybody can start this business? I know there's a lot of people. We have over 100 people watching right now live, and man, we've been getting some really good feedback. So if you guys are enjoying this, be sure to go down below and hit that like button. No, smash that like button, because this information is just like so much fun to learn about. But do you think that anybody can do this? Is there I always like to ask this question. Does this require a certain skill set? We mentioned a lot of stuff, but are there certain people who should probably stay away from this? Obviously, it's not money because it doesn't cost much money to start.
Right. Not much money to start. The skills you got to have are you got to know how to shop online. That's like the core of it. And then you have to know how to copy and paste. Like so much
Keyword.
of this business is copying and pasting. That's the skill set. As far as like character, you just got to really want it. Like if you really want to make money online, if you have persistence, then this could work. Because really, it's the persistence that's going to like determine how well you do. Because there are going to be times where you're unsure of yourself, or that you got to be more patient. This is like you said before. This is not a get rich quick scheme, but it does work. And if you're persistent, it will work. It's worked for me. It's worked for other people. It's worked for my students. So,
Do you have any goals for where you want to be in terms of profit by the end of 2018? Or it's cool if you're like you want to stay where you are, because with scale comes a lot of responsibilities and sometimes risk.
yeah, I want to make $250,000 this year at least, and I think that's actually too conservative. Um,
Profit.
yeah, profit. I think I could do almost 300.
What do you think you need to do differently than what you're doing now to get to that point?
Nothing actually. I think if I just keep doing what I'm doing, it's my store is growing every month. So this January is going to be better than December, which surprised me. So I think if I keep at it, I think $250,000 is attainable.
Wow. Well, I think that's about it, man. We've ran over the time a little bit. We this video is like a crash course in itself. But man, so much information, guys. If you are excited as I am about this opportunity, go down below, check out his program. I'm telling you guys right now, you will not be sorry. And I think there's going to be a lot more videos between Paul and I over the next upcoming weeks and months, hopefully sharing more information, because I'm going to just keep prying that information out of his brain, because I know there's a lot there. 18,000 a month part-time drop shipping on eBay from Amazon and different sources. Just really, really cool. So I want to thank you, Paul, for coming on. Do you have any final words of wisdom to the viewers who have been watching and who are now excited, want to get started?
Yeah, I would say just get started. There's so many excuses that people make for thinking it doesn't work, for not wanting to give it a shot. But if you just go for it, it does work. And you like, I love this quote that you should leap now and build your wings on the way down, right? Don't be afraid to take risks, because the risks are what makes you the money, right? So I would say just go for whatever it is that your viewers want to do. They should just go for it, not hold back.
Cool, man. I love it. Great ending. So, Paul, thank you so much for coming on the show. Again, guys, check out his YouTube channel, The Hustle Husbands. I'll link all that up down below in the show notes. Check out his program. What's your program called? What's it about, real quick?
It's called eBay Dropshipping Titans. It's like my A to Z guide, how to get started dropshipping on eBay, as well as advanced stuff as well for when you get like further down the line.
Cool. So check it out. Like I promised you guys, if you do get his program, with the link down below, send me a screenshot to rakeandprofit@gmail.com. And I will send you over 3 of my best-selling clothing books, which is about over $100 value free right there. So be sure to check that out. Check out his YouTube channel. Check out the replay as well. There's a lot of replay value in this video. And with that being said, we will see you guys in the next video, and smash that like button. Thanks, Paul.
Bye, Steve.